You think we're gonna beat all these games?
Nope.
Backlog boys.
No, probably not. Dude, you see how excited I got right there? For that popcorn.
Is that what that was?
I think so, yeah.
Vaughn's excited, you guys. Welcome back.
Huge waveform
More Dark Cloud.
on the screen.
Do you want to tell him why you got excited, Vaughn?
Yeah, well, first, just listen to this.
That probably sounds disgusting.
You think so?
Probably.
This is some popcorn. So Austin walks down with a big old bowl, and I couldn't see what was in it. Then I saw it was some popcorn, right? And I was like, oh, it's popcorn. I thought it was like cold popcorn that he poured out of a bag. But to my surprise, I then smelled it, which meant, dang, he just made it. And then I put it in my mouth, and it was money.
He like cried a little bit when he took a bite. He had to take a moment. He was like, that's so good.
It was really good.
And he just closed his eyes and reflected on the bite.
And I'm still eating it.
Oh yeah, I'm eating it too.
Austin's enjoying it. What you put on? You put salt, pepper, and Parmesan?
Yeah.
Very good.
Just the like the crappy, like powdery Parmesan, because it works perfectly in that way. Yeah, I usually... Oh, but I just got a chicken from him. He's just running around. You'll never catch me! Slash.
Oh, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
So you said once, probably more than once, that you think that Nintendo sometimes will like have an idea for a game, and then after they have the idea, decide which franchise would suit it best.
Absolutely. They've admitted to that multiple times.
Oh, they have?
Yes.
Do you know like any specific examples?
Sure. Zelda or... I mean, Star Fox Adventures was a result of that.
Okay.
They were like, they came up with this game that they wanted to make with Rare. That was going to be like an adventure platformer game like Banjo-Kazooie or something, you know?
Okay.
And then Rare got bought. That was during Rare getting bought by Microsoft.
Which...
So then, Rare didn't want to use any of their original characters or couldn't or whatever.
They couldn't. They were forced.
So then Nintendo had to be like, okay, which one of our franchises can we use to sell this game that we pretty much already made?
So what are we gonna skin it with, essentially?
Yeah, and they had to choose between like Metroid and Star Fox. And they chose Star Fox because someone had already kind of started coming up with Metroid Prime. And they would have had to do less retooling of the game because it was going to be like, you know, melee combat versus shooting.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're pretty commonly known for doing that. They've even done that with some of the Zelda games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where I think that's what happened with Link Between Worlds.
Really?
They came up with the concept of like the 2D
really
versus 3D, and then they're like, what would this work well with? And then they settled on Zelda.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what they've said, and different developers within Nintendo have said in like various interviews. Like, yeah, we usually come up with a gameplay concept first, and then we start building the actual game.
That's really interesting.
But yeah, I think all their stuff starts in like the theoretical phase. And they don't say like, oh, it's time to make a new Zelda game. Let's get started. You know, they just they just make games based on ideas, and then
choose to market it a certain way.
Yeah, and then they figure out
or what would suit best.
Yeah,
what fans might like.
I mean,
best.
Maybe they do that with like Mario, because Mario's so straightforward.
Yeah, maybe they just
like, we're making a new Mario.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
here's a Mario game.
Yeah, it probably doesn't happen with Mario, where they're like, oh, you know, this would work really well with Mario. But
it's a very
it could have happened with Mario Galaxy, I guess.
Yeah, that could be.
But yeah, I think that's the way they do things, or at least that's how they tell us they do things, which I approve of.
Because I was thinking about this the other day. Because I'm sure I mentioned this to death before, but I was on an Advance Wars streak for a while, and I played Days of Ruin, which is the most recent release, but it's like 8 years old or something.
Okay.
So it's been a while. But in like the early Fire Emblem days, like way back, like before any of the American releases, it was known for being like a very dark and grim series sometimes that would deal with things like, you know, you know, execution and genocide and like, you know, concepts that would involve like more than just like, you know,
Standard fare.
yeah. It was known to be like gruesome at times, and like, you know, sometimes I think specifically there was like in one of the games a character decides to like murder a baby, and it was like on a Nintendo game.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Like
Whoops.
oh,
Try to pour water on it.
but then after Fire Emblem 6 and like the rest, they kind of, as they started to come to the West, they got
A little more tame.
a little more tame, less dark, a little more like sometimes, you know, colorful and lighthearted. And
I mean, I definitely see it as an overall serious franchise.
it is.
Not lighthearted.
It is. I mean, more
But
serious.
definitely not
than-
necessarily dark.
Yeah. But and they also changed like one of the main developers or one of the main creators left. I think as that change switched, or
Oh,
like that
interesting.
change happened, and then
Ooh, Satan's Ring.
something I noticed when I played Days of Ruin was that Advance Wars is like, if you took Fire Emblem, all of like the serious parts of Fire Emblem out, like Advance Wars is that. It's like mostly happy,
Yeah.
mostly good feeling.
Yeah, it's
And-
Fire Emblem for Americans.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But ooh,
Crap.
he almost wrecked you. But Days of Ruin is like very dark and like post-apocalyptic, and it deals with like things like the older Fire Emblem games, like execution and like how, and it just like really interesting concepts that recent Fire Emblem games don't deal with. So I wondered for a while if like they were going to make a Fire Emblem game that was like super dark and serious because the Fire Emblem game before that didn't even come to America. And then I was wondering if they were making a Fire Emblem game for Americans and then didn't, or just like decided to rebrand it and not release it in Japan and turn it into Advance Wars and just make it completely different. Because it's the same developer.
Could be.
It's Intelligent Systems.
I mean, I could see Fire Emblem falling under the same kind of thing as Mario, where the gameplay concept is super set in stone, and so when it's time to make the next one, you know, maybe that happens when they have like a story in mind or some new like twist on the same gameplay.
Yeah. But just because it's like so out of character of like an Advance Wars game that it feels very different when you play through it.
Yeah.
Just like in the story arc and stuff.
Yeah. So
And then it just made me think about
could
it.
have
I
been
have
like a
no
scrapped Fire Emblem game.
Yeah, I have no evidence of that, but like,
It's a
just a
plausible.
hunch.
It's a plausible
Yeah.
theory.
but yeah, it only got released here and in Europe, and there hasn't been one since. So, all right.
Was that the second or third Advance Wars? Because wasn't there an Advance Wars 2?
fourth?
Oh, it's a fourth. Okay.
Yeah. Because there's 1 and 2 on the Game Boy, and then there's a 2 on the DS. So 4 total.
Dude, you remember Metroid Prime Federation Force?
Yeah.
That came out.
It's here.
Yeah.
Have you seen
It's
it?
been out for a while. No.
Have you played?
What's funny, is like a lot of times when a game like that gets announced and
Just gets
people
trashed.
people just trash it and everything, and like when it comes out, you'll see a lot of like people playing it on YouTube or streaming it or whatever.
Was it quiet then?
Seriously, since that game came out, I have not seen one single thing about it. Like, it was just like so genuinely unwanted and bad
Wow.
that just nothing. Not a peep. And just find that impressive.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
'Cause
I've
I just thought about that. Like, I just remembered, like, oh yeah, I remember how mad everybody got when that got announced, and holy crap, that's been out for like months.
So when did it come out then?
It came out like this summer.
This summer?
Yeah, pretty sure. I mean, you could look it up to be sure, but I'm pretty confident that it came out like a while ago.
Because you're right, I haven't seen anything about it either at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen similar reception to the idea for the new Pikmin game from Pikmin fans.
Oh, the 2D one?
Yeah. That fans are just like crapping on it.
Man,
It's not Pikmin or whatever.
it sucks
Or 'cause
being
they wanted a Pikmin game and then it wasn't a Pikmin game.
it sucks being a Nintendo fan that doesn't hate everything.
Were you like,
It seems like every other Nintendo fan just hates everything. And they're just like, oh, Nintendo isn't good anymore, and they're so sick of this and that, and they keep doing dumb stuff, and they're gonna lose all their money, and it's like, well, why are you still a Nintendo fan? Like, you just sit there and talk about Link to the Past and freaking Mario 64 all day, you know, and then just complain about all the current games they're making. Just like, maybe you should stop calling yourself a Nintendo fan if you don't like anything that Nintendo does. Gee, maybe that makes sense.
I can understand.
Because like every time I meet somebody who likes Nintendo games, we'll talk about like old games and we'll connect. And then I'll start talking about newer stuff and they're just like, oh, I don't have a Wii U. Or like, oh, I didn't even buy a Wii.
Or God forbid you liked Skyward Sword.
Yeah. And, well, that's a different conversation. But
No, everyone on the internet except like 3 people hates Skyward Sword. So. Did you know this?
I don't hate Skyward Sword, but it's got some issues.
Oh, it's got some issues.
For sure.
But I mean, there are people who would hate you just for enjoying any
Like,
of it.
okay. I mean, I pretty much only enjoyed the parts that I enjoyed because it was Zelda. It's pretty low on the list for me.
No, that's okay. But I'm saying there's people who like the older Zelda games up through, I don't know, Wind Waker. And then if you're
lucky,
if you say that you liked Skyward Sword, like they will
just trash you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you never played the good ones.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like exactly what you were just talking about.
Yeah, just grinds my gears, folks. All right, we gotta go shop tomorrow on the boys.
Tomorrow on the boys, we're
gonna calm down.
More venting with the boys.
I'm going to Queens, let off some steam. See ya.